Well, I have challenged people to record a little bit of a headshot to um, keep a record and share with the Monkton community their gold at the end of the rainbow. That idea of what it is that they want to take into the post-COVID world when that arrives. Um, what about this great stopping of the world that they want to keep hold of when it all gets started again?
Sometimes it feels like life is so unknown. There's so much chaos that we don't have any clue what's happening. But in the future, we will look back and we will see how God was working a wonderful plan in every single aspect of our lives.
There is one thing that I often do to relax, and I get in a lot of grief about it, and people tease me. And in fact, I was doing this during the staff quiz the other night when we were on the telly and everyone could see it, and they were teasing me. But you know what? I think a few of them have discovered the benefits of it, and it is doing puzzles. I don't know if you can see that. So this is the puzzle I'm doing at the moment. There's my little stacky box to sort them out. This is where I do them, and I put this up on my lap. Now this puzzle I'm doing at the moment is one that Miss Ritchie has lent me. So what I've discovered during lockdown with this though is that it's a really unthreatening way to chat to people in your family, particularly if you might have teenage children, for example. You can sit together, you can watch the telly, and then you can talk without it being threatening or intimidating.
I've really enjoyed having more time to do things that I wouldn't normally do. So reading a book, cycling, paddleboarding, and I've loved having more time to do things which I don't normally get to do in normal life. And I hope to find time to do this when we get back to our normal routine.
At Monkton, I eat here a lot in the school dining room, which is amazing, but it also means that I don't get to cook and explore food as much as I would like to. So I think for me it's just carving out time, whether it's to grow my own food or learning to cook new recipes, just a bit more often, as food and cooking is where I feel like I've found the most joy and the feeling of being present.
Hi, so the golden nugget that I have taken from this online learning and quarantine experience is probably a greater appreciation for my teachers and all that they do to support me and facilitate my learning and help me grow as a person, but also within my subjects. I think that's been really evident over this online learning period, how much they really do and the time that goes into them supporting us in our learning. And I think previously I haven't recognised that as much. And so as we move out of this quarantine period, I would love to more openly show my gratitude and thankfulness to them for all they do.
However, these are pictures of my family, the next generation, all of whom have been working in the front line with COVID patients in Manchester, Stoke and Birmingham. Jonathan, my son, Andrew, my nephew, and Katrina, my niece. They've all been working very hard and fortunately stayed well, and they get a round of applause every Thursday evening.
So I think the thing I've probably been reflecting on the most during this time is what things are really important in my life and what things we should all value. When so much is taken away, it really shows how privileged you are to have those things in the first place, to have those things that could be taken away. So moving forward into post-lockdown, I think I aim to value my friends and my family, my teachers, everyone, so much more.
I don't know about you, but my time seems constantly the most precious resource, constantly trying to find more time. And lockdown has given me a glimpse on a different world. There have been moments where I've had time, and it's been a revelation, and I've loved it. And I genuinely worry that the biggest crime of all of this lockdown is if we do not learn from it, is if we just go back to the old ways, and I can feel it already. And the resource that we will lose will be time.
But one of the ones, slightly random ones for me, has been trees. I've spent much more time walking in the woods that are on both sides of the valley in Monkton. They're really gorgeous woods I've never fully appreciated before. And I've also just spent more time, or had more time, to look at some of the trees. Some of them fairly simple ones and some of them incredible ones. This is one behind me. It's outside Nutfield. And appreciating a whole different range of aspects of the trees. The habitats they provide, the shade they provide. I've also been trying to grow some in the garden, and that's required a lot of water, but also just the material they're made of. So I don't know if you can see that massive branch sticking out above me. But the moments, from a mechanic's perspective, because that's always exciting and that's what I'm always thinking about, but the moments involved at the trunk on that branch are absolutely enormous. If you imagine if that branch snapped and I tried to sort of hold it in place off the ground using my own strength, I would stand absolutely no chance at all.
So I think the lockdown has kind of taught me to stop making plans and wishing away each day, and to instead just focus on the little things and giving thanks for them and just enjoying each day as it comes, because every day is different. And yeah, it's just given me a moment to step back and take a look at everything.
COVID-19, a time to think, especially when you're not healthy. I tell myself it's time to bring order to my life. I hope that I can leave some memories of myself as a person to my family, some close friends and others that are near and dear to me. If there is any kind of immortality, it remains in the minds and hearts of others. In these difficult times, I realize again how transient life is, how inconsistent all our efforts, but how valuable some experiences of it are. Valuable because of the people I met in my life, the family I have, and the education that made all of this possible.
So in lockdown, we have discovered a nightly walk that we love to do around our village. And this is a beautiful field that we go through every night, and we walk for an hour. And I hope that does last after lockdown. To be honest, to be realistic, I don't think we would have time normally, but even if we did it once or twice a week, I think it would be a really lovely legacy of this time, because we've really enjoyed it.
One of the things I had to do this week, sadly, was to break some very bad news to somebody. Fortunately, I was able to do that in person rather than over the phone. But ordinarily, when someone I'm talking to becomes distressed at bad news, I might just give them a little light touch on the forearm, just to show some compassion and connection with them, and that's something I wasn't able to do. And not only was I not able to touch them, but I was covered in plastic and I had a mask covering most of my face. So I was just left with the content of my words, the tone of my voice and my eyes to try and communicate care and concern when I was sharing something that was fairly devastating. So touch is a really important thing. So if you have people in your life that you get to touch every day, don't take it for granted, be thankful for it. And if you're aware of people who do live by themselves, maybe don't have such close family, give them a hug if you can. If you can't, at least just give them a little light touch on the shoulder or the arm, just to make that physical connection with people. It's actually really important.
My golden nugget from Monkton, over the 7 years I've been there, would probably be crossing the line at 10 tours in year 10. Huge sense of achievement.
Becky and I have been working in a nursing home that was hit by coronavirus. So all our residents have been shut in their rooms with the doors shut for weeks and weeks now. Their loved ones aren't able to visit. We have one gentleman who's married and his wife usually comes in every day. She's not able to come in. I just want to end on a really positive note that the virus has gone from our home now, and the residents are back out their rooms, in the living room, in the garden, in the dining room, having tremendous fun again with their masks on and 2 metres between them, bless them. And this week we've started allowing their loved ones in the garden to meet with them.
As you can see, I forgot to go to the barber's on the 20th of March when the school locked down, so my hair's got a bit long. That's pretty cool because I really enjoy it, and I think a lot of people quite like it too. I'm really interested in the lockdown because for me it's the day that capitalism stood still, and coming out of it will be a real challenge. I think we've got to be positive, and I hope that everything will return to normality.
My golden nugget is recognising that sometimes you just have to let go. You can't keep on top of everything all of the time. And even better, that sometimes when you have let go, some things just sort themselves out before you get there.
I've loved spending less time in the car. And I've been cycling to more places, and hopefully in the future I'll keep cycling to the places that I can. I've started cooking for my family, and hopefully in the future I'll just keep cooking for them and make my meals better and better as I go along.
I think it's felt really quite odd because on one hand we've been quite isolated from one another, but that's pushed us into connecting with people through new ways, and I've really enjoyed some of the phone conversations and WhatsApp chats that I've had with people. I had a bit more time to talk to people. I just got to know people better in this community, and also friends right around the globe that I possibly haven't had contact with in some cases for maybe even years. And it has been, again, a real highlight, and I hope when things get back to being busier again, that I'll remember how important that's been, and that I learn to make time to keep those connections.
So, I have enjoyed spending time with my old dog Lucy, who is nearly 15, and seeing my brothers more and doing lots more baking. And I will keep on doing these things after lockdown.
Anyway, that's all from me.